South Africans are losing faith in the police's ability to fight crime. This was despite crime levels decreasing, according to the Victims of Crime Survey for 2015 and 2016. Releasing the survey, Statistician General Dr. Pali Lehohla says satisfaction with courts also dropped since 2011. While the total number of crimes dropped, the public perceives that crime has increased. Many people are reluctant to let their children play in the streets during the day. Most households cite drugs as the reason for crime in their communities. The overall number of incidents dropped to 800 and 700,000. However, many crimes still go unreported. Household satisfaction with the courts dropped 10.5% since 2011. Housebreaking or burglaries decreased by 1.1% since 2011. Western Cape has the lowest satisfaction with the courts at 32.2%. Some 66% of those in Northern Cape believe the courts are too lenient. At least 70% of people don't feel safe at night.
So naturally, the numbers are likely to differ. Ideally, they must be the same. And it's important to record every crime because it helps tactically and strategically to deal with it. So we can see that from the victims of crime, a number of people have actually experienced home robbery here from the victim side, and very few of those are reported as SARS. We asked the question on, can police do something about drugs? The question was, why are you not reporting? And the public say, the police cannot do anything about it. And that's, I think, a very serious indictment, that people have lost hope that the police can do something about things. But we must also remember that the absolute number of crimes has actually declined. Is it because police were there to deter it? Possibly. But we also know that police visibility in the minds of people has also declined.
South Africa's unemployment rate has retreated from its highest in 13 years as key sectors hired more workers in the fourth quarter of 2016. Data from the Statistics South Africa released today shows the unemployment rate is at 26.5% of the labour force in the fourth quarter, down from 27.1% in the third quarter. In its quarterly labour force survey, which polls households, Stats SA says this amounted to 5.781 million people without jobs in the fourth quarter, compared with 5.87 million previously. Statistician General Pali Lehohla says the growth in employment was mainly driven by service industry and transport, as well as manufacturing sectors. Now, joining us live via Skype to discuss this further is economist Mr. Francois Stoffberg. Good afternoon to you, sir, and thank you for joining us here on ANN7. How do you see the unemployment figures in the fourth quarter? Some positive news, at least.
Yes, definitely. I think we have to make the best of every bit of good information that comes our way, and definitely a drop in the overall unemployment is good for morale and good for sentiment in South Africa.
What are those sectors that are showing improvement within the fourth quarter?
Yes, it was the community and social services sector, increasing by 73,000 jobs. Transport, 46,000. Manufacturing also up, did good. 44,000, and agriculture also 38,000. And we're a bit concerned to see community and social services increase by such a large extent. Of course, more jobs in the market is a good thing. We want to have people employed, but the largest share of community and social services is actually government. So this is just a larger tax burden for those individuals who are paying tax, that have to support more civil servants, which isn't necessarily a good thing, specifically looking at the February budget and the necessary tax increases that will have to go in line with employing more people in the civil service.
Mr. Stoffberg, do you think we can actually celebrate the numbers that we have gotten, or is this just a flash in the pan? Going forward, what do you foresee?
Yes, unfortunately, as I say, every bit of good news that comes our way should be celebrated, but most likely then in context. In context, unfortunately, South Africa does struggle with an extremely high unemployment rate, one of the highest rates in the world, specifically if you look at youth unemployment, which fuels social unrest and tensions in South Africa. So structurally, we have high unemployment, and unfortunately, though, is that government policies, the effectiveness, the administration, etc., hasn't been able to align policies from a central perspective to start boosting this economy to a point where it can actually employ more people.
Just lastly, Mr. Stoffberg, during the State of the Nation address, we heard President Jacob Zuma really touch on economic transformation. Do you think that the President's renewed thrust on radical transformation will help generate more jobs in the country?
No, unfortunately not. Not the type of transformation he was alluding to. The type of transformation you need is structural reforms. The type of transformation you don't need is more spending on ineffective policies, more spending on the likes of education, but receiving the worst education results in the world, or some of the worst results in the world. So spending more or changing policies won't really do much, but the effectiveness of those policies, the effectiveness of their administration, the effectiveness of government in guiding and using the private sector to do what it does, and that's create wealth and create jobs, which we see throughout the world. That's what you need. So no, not really impressed with the transformative suggestions that he was alluding to. We have a lot of good transformative policies in South Africa. One is the National Development Plan, which do a lot in terms of structural reform to actually grow this economy.
Well, let's leave it there for now. Thank you very much.